Thank you. Morning, everybody. So I'm just going to go over, as it was mentioned, Project Repeater, which was an investigation led by the Toronto Police Hold-Up Squad in collaboration with several of our GTA partners, which resulted ultimately in the arrest of several individuals this last Thursday. So without further delay, good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I want to make you aware of an investigation dubbed Project Repeater, which is a collaborative, multi-jurisdictional effort led by the Toronto Police Hold-Up Squad in partnership with the Peel Regional Central Robbery Bureau, York Region Hold-Up Squad, the Halton Region Robbery Unit, and the Ontario Provincial Police Caledon's Major Crime and Street Crime Units. Through funding provided by the Government of Ontario, Criminal Intelligence Service Ontario supported this Toronto Police joint investigation. Beginning in August of 2022, a group of suspects committed a number of carjackings targeting high-end vehicles, including Cadillac Escalades, various Porsche models, and Land Rovers. They also committed a series of pharmacy robberies and robberies of currency exchange institutions. These incidents took place in Toronto and throughout the GTA. The group used stolen vehicles and on occasions used handguns, knives, and physical violence in committing these robberies. The group used, in total, it's alleged that this group committed 23 pharmacy robberies where both narcotics and cash were targeted and obtained, 7 carjacking robberies, 2 robberies at currency exchange establishments, and 2 car thefts. Project Repeater was conducted over an approximate 5-month period in an effort to identify the individuals committing the crimes, also those orchestrating and behind the scenes. This last Thursday, March 30th, 2023, members of the Hold-Up Squad, in partnerships with other Toronto Police Service units, our regional partners, executed 7 criminal code search warrants in relation to this investigation. 4 suspects on that date were taken into custody, and they are Amir Inyat, A-M-I-R-I-N-Y-A-T, 29 years of age, of Brampton; Shays Ejaz, S-H-A-I-S, E-J-A-Z, 25 years of Brampton; Mohammed Habib, 32 years of age, of Toronto; and Kassar Rahim Zada, 21 years, of Toronto. 2 people also arrested in December and January of this year, December of last year and January of this year, were previously arrested, and those were Stephen Singh, 22 years of age, of Brampton, and a 15-year-old boy. This brings the total number of arrests to 6 individuals. A keyless repeater device and multiple key fobs recovered during the search warrants, which you can see on the screen beside me, and other items of evidentiary value. 7 of the 9 vehicles have also been recovered. And I believe that's going to be on the screen as well, and those are stock photos of the vehicles that were alleged to be taken through carjackings and or car thefts throughout this investigation. The total approximate value for all recovered property is in excess of $980,000. And again, the names of the arrested persons and associated charges were made available for reference as part of a published news release after this. The Toronto Police and the Hold-Up Squad remain concerned about the number of carjackings and pharmacy robberies taking place in our city and elsewhere in the GTA. But I want to assure the public that Toronto Police crime prevention officers are routinely visiting pharmacy to discuss safety issues. We continue to recommend that pharmacies, if possible, invest in sound, good surveillance technology, panic alarms, and of course, time-delayed safes. And make sure those safes, please, remain locked at all times. As a reminder also, as I've said before and I'll say again, if someone attempts to steal your vehicle, please give the vehicle up. Do not argue. Do not resist. Again, your safety far outweighs the value of a vehicle. I want to thank our law enforcement partners and acknowledge the continued assistance throughout this intensive investigation from numerous Toronto Police Service resources, including intelligence services, forensic identification services, officers from 22, 23, 32, 42, and 43 Division Major Crime Units. And Subject to any questions, that's where we are with Project Repeater.
I have a question. Absolutely. Inspector, what can you tell us about the fact that 2 of these accused had previously been arrested and then were obviously released on conditions? How concerning is that? And were they for a similar type carjackings and pharmacy robberies?
Yeah, so again, of course, the caveat is this is a matter that's before the courts, but the 2 individuals that I mentioned that were previously arrested are in relation to this lengthy investigation.
But they were out on previous recognizance for previous...
No, they remain in custody, actually.
Oh, they've been in custody since December.
That's correct.
Okay. Carjackings is an ongoing issue. It's been almost a year since Mitch Garner was carjacked, which really brought this into the forefront of our consciousness here in Toronto. Do you believe that these people are part of an organized group? And where are these vehicles destined for?
So I can say with certainty that the group of individuals involved in this investigation had the complete earmarks of an organized crime group. There was planning, there was execution, there was instruction, and there were those that benefited from those that committed the robberies. Carjackings, yes, are of course a concern, and for 2023, so far we've experienced that have been taken, the investigations that have been taken by the whole squad, 23 incidents. And this time last year, there are 25. So there is a slight decrease, but we are still concerned. 1 carjacking, of course, is far too many.
These are all high-end vehicles, Land Rovers, Cadillacs, Porsche. Where are they destined for, and how were you able to stop them? Because we hear they're on containers to the Middle East before you know it.
Quite often they are placed on containers. Fortunately, in this particular investigation, they did not make it that far. They were all located west of the city quite quickly in a timely fashion, and through either GPS technology or some excellent police work. And I'll leave it at that.
A number of videos were being played on this screen, and you've released these videos. Tell us what we're seeing in these videos.
Okay, so in these particular videos...
Just get them up again, and you can talk about them as we watch them.
Sure. In the particular videos that you're seeing, I believe it depicts 2 of the related carjacking incidents and 1 theft of a vehicle. The theft of vehicle was I believe, a crime of opportunity, and the accused took that opportunity to jump in the vehicle and take off. It was a high-end vehicle as well. The carjacked vehicles, with certainty, were targeted, and it's alleged that firearms were used in the commission of those offenses. 1 depicts, I believe, a broad daylight incident where there are several witnesses around, and it just speaks to how brazen these individuals were throughout this investigation.
So tell us, what is your hope? I mean, now they've been arrested and charged. We know that people are getting bail. I know you don't want to comment on what's happening in the courts, but how concerned are you that these people not be released? Extremely
concerned. I would say that and make the public rest assured that with the arrest of these individuals, we have definitely made Toronto safer. This is alleged to be a very violent group of individuals who ply their trade in many areas: carjackings, car thefts, pharmacy robberies, and money exchange establishments. I quite easily can say that with these individuals being arrested, we've definitely put a dent, and it's a bonus in the way of public safety.
Just speak again, if you can, you talk about how these people are overtaking the drivers. What are we seeing in that video? I know in the first video you see someone in their driveway, and that person is blurred out. Where did this happen? When did this happen? Can you kind of paint a picture for us? This person's arriving home, what happens?
Yes, so like I mentioned, this investigation, the occurrences that can be attributed to this group, they commenced in August of last year. And of the videos that are depicted, it sort of depicts one of the methods that they used, and which was obviously blitzing the unsuspecting victims. We have seen in this particular investigation intentional contact with motorists, and of course the first reaction would be to get out and inspect the damage and exchange information with what the person might have believed was an actual citizen involved in a car accident. So these individuals deployed several different tactics: intentional contact, blitzing unsuspecting victims, day or night, and also opportunity when they saw vehicles that they wanted to obtain, they stole them as well.
Can you say how you caught these six individuals? Can you give us some insight? Because obviously, as you said, they were responsible allegedly for a number of carjackings, pharmacy robberies, money exchange robberies. So they continued going. Were you going undercover work? Can you speak to how you got them?
It's a matter that's before the courts, but I can tell you, as I mentioned before, the hold-up squad is dedicated and invested in putting these individuals before the courts and holding them accountable that way. This was a team of investigators who worked tirelessly and relentlessly, gathering all available evidence. And as I mentioned, we were able to also identify those that were not only committing the robberies, but those who benefited, those who instructed, and those who had something to gain from the other people committing the actual robberies. It was, we could chalk it up also to great community partnerships. We had valuable input from community members, valuable input from the witnesses, and when you put that combination together, working together with our communities and the broader GTA, it's something to behold. And I'm proud to say that once again, these individuals have been taken off the streets.
Inspector, a lot of people say to me, as someone who covers crime, should I get a Range Rover? And I say no, because we know there's this ability to clone the key, and as you showed, these people had this these key fobs. Has the technology gotten any better? What do you say when someone says to you, I want a Range Rover, I've always loved Range Rover, but unfortunately these are the cars that are being targeted? Porsche, Cadillac, what do you say to these people? Are they targets?
Well, unfortunately, you know, it comes with, you know, being aware of your surroundings and that sort of stuff, but people should not have to, you know, change their, you know, their want list or wish list because of these things taking place. They're unfortunate incidents. One, again, is far too many. But again, being aware of your surroundings, investing in some sort of, you know, dash cams or some sort of security device. What I'm saying is you should be able to go about your usual business and buy any vehicle that you do want. Coupled with the safety measures in place, we hope that these incidents don't continue to take place.
One more question, please.
Okay, so we're talking, I know a lot of this that we're talking about is people who have theft of vehicle from their driveway because it's the Range Rover that's being targeted, but still, what should someone do in this situation? These are armed carjackings. What is your advice for someone who finds themselves, you know, like you said, someone intentionally bumps into their vehicle or they pull into their driveway and suddenly they're approached by armed suspects?
Comply with the demands that are made and give up the vehicle. In the case where intentional contact is made, again, try to commit to memory what takes place if it in fact is not an actual car accident. Commit to memory what took place, call 911 as soon as it's you know, safe to do so. And again, try to commit to memory what took place and with as many descriptions as possible. We at the Hold-Up Squad and the Toronto Police Service and the greater GTA will investigate these to the nth degree. We will not stop. And like I said, those who ply their trade by doing these kinds of crimes will feel the full investigative weight of the Hold-Up Squad.
Last question. Are these videos in relation to this investigation then? For sure? Okay.
As far as our robberies go at pharmacies, do you have a theory on why they're happening there? Is this tied to a growing drug problem in the city?
Absolutely. The cash that's obtained during these pharmacy robberies is literally what I would describe as a bonus. These individuals are going in and targeting the narcotic safes, strictly looking for the opiates. We're talking the high-grade prescription meds that are contained within the safes and making off with quite a large amount. Evidence and intelligence suggests that is quite lucrative for those who are into the drug trade. And again, that is one of the concerns why we're with the messaging and safety tips in place to try and curb these incidents from taking place.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.